Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldy Co is resigning from his post. Co posts on his Facebook page copies of his letter to House of Representatives Speaker Boji D. Later on, Co staffers confirmed that the beleaguered lawmaker is stepping down from his post. In his letter dated September 29, Co cites the alleged grave and imminent threat to his and his family's lives as part of why he is resigning. Co also alleges that he was denied the right to due process of the law. According to Co, his decision to resign as Ako Bicol Party List representative was not easy, but he says he carefully weighed the decision for the good of his family and his constituents. Co is facing an ethics complaint filed by Navotas City Representative Toby Tiangco. Tiangco accused Co of allegedly masterminding, tolerating, and deliberately allowing last-minute insertions and realignments to the 2025 national budget. In his letter, Co categorically denies this accusation, calling it baseless. According to Co, all items in the 2025 General Appropriations Act were approved at plenary sessions and followed the collegial process of both houses of Congress. He says it was impossible that he made insertions on his own without the knowledge or approval of members of both the upper and lower chambers. Contractor couple Curly and Sara Duterte have also accused Co and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez of receiving kickbacks from infrastructure projects. Both Co and Romualdez denied the accusations by the Duterte couple. The Independent Commission for Infrastructure submits its first ever interim report to the Office of the Ombudsman. The report flags possible anomalies in a 289.5 million peso flood control project in Oriental Mindoro. The ICI is urging the anti-graft body to determine whether violations may have been committed under the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, provisions on malversation and falsification in the revised penal code, the Government Procurement Reform Act, and the Code of Conduct for Public Officials and Employees. The recommendation covers the 289.5 million peso flood control project in Nauhan, Oriental Mindoro, implemented by the Department of Public Works and Highways Region 4B through contractor SunWest Incorporated. The project involves the construction of a road dike along the Mag-Asawang Tubig River. According to the ICI, installed steel sheet piles measured only about 2.5 to 3 meters in length, despite the contract requiring 12-meter piles. Due to this discrepancy, the ICI says public losses were estimated at over 63 million pesos. The Commission also notes apparent deficiencies in documentation supporting progress billings, with several payments approved despite missing records. In some instances, identical photographs were allegedly reused to justify separate billings, raising concerns about lapses in project verification. The ICI further flagged certifications by DPWH officials attesting to compliance with specifications and workmanship, saying these appear questionable and require further investigation. The report cites records linking SunWest Incorporated to former House Appropriations Chair Zaldy Co. Co and his brother Christopher founded SunWest in 1997. Co said he had divested from the company in 2019, but the Commission cites reports of Co potentially retaining beneficial ownership. The ICI stresses that more evidence is needed to establish any definitive connection. Aside from Co, the ICI names 17 other individuals as persons potentially responsible for the irregularities in the Oriental Mindoro project. Amid allegations of corruption involving lawmakers, Vice President Sara Duterte expresses belief that the government is no longer stable. Duterte on Monday, September 29, faced the Senate Finance Subcommittee for the budget deliberation of her office's proposed 902.8 million peso budget. The panel swiftly approved the budget in less than an hour. In a press conference at the Senate, Duterte stresses that institutions are supposedly being abused. She cites recent testimonies in congressional hearings about alleged corruption in government infrastructure projects.
No, ma'am, no. Our institutions are clearly abused. They are used for personal gain. They are used for personal gain, and we have already seen the testimony of witnesses about corruption. And there is practically nothing happening in our country. Ilang ulit ko na yan sinasabi noon na tigilan yung politika, tigilan yung pansariling, pag-una ng pansariling interes kasi walang nangyayari sa ating bansa. Meron ba kayong nakikita at all na project na nakatulong sa ating bayan? Wala.
According to the Vice President, she had expected the Marcos administration to continue the projects and programs started by her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte.
In fact, we ran on the platform of unity and continuity. Ang expectation noon is that there will be continuity on the projects like the build projects of the former administration at yung mga iba pa na nasimulan ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, pero wala naman tayong nakita.
Asked about the morale of the armed forces of the Philippines, Duterte refuses to comment.
Hindi ko alam. Hindi ako makapagsalita sa moral ng mga sundalo. Siguro mabuti ba ang word na magsalita patungkol sa moral is sila na mismo ang magsabi.
The armed forces of the Philippines earlier denied rumors circulating online about a supposed coup plot backed by the Central Intelligence Agency. The supposed coup plot allegedly involved Defense Secretary gov't and the military to remove President Bongbong Marcos. The AFP called the allegations dangerous disinformation. Meanwhile, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro dismisses the Vice President's remarks, calling them lies.
Isang malaking kasinungalingan na naman to. Alam natin na matatag ang ating gobyerno, ang pamahalaang administrasyong Marcos Jr. Ito ay ginigiba lamang ng mga obstructionist na tulad nila. Malamang hindi na nakikita anong ginagawa ng Pangulo dahil bulag sila. Nagbubulag-bulagan, nakapikit ang mata.
A court is ordering the arrest of former Police Colonel Royina Garma and retired police officer Edilberto Leonardo for murder and frustrated murder. Apart from Garma and Leonardo, the Mandaluyong City Regional Trial Court Branch 279 also issued the arrest warrant against Jeremy Kausapin, alias Tox, Police Lieutenant Colonel Santi Mendoza, and Nelson Mariano. The 5 individuals are charged with murder and frustrated murder, which are non-bailable. During a series of House Quad Committee hearings in 2024, Mendoza tagged Garma and Leonardo as the alleged masterminds in the killing of former Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office Board Secretary Wesley Barayuga. Garma also revealed to the Quad Committee the supposed existence of a reward system in former President Rodrigo Duterte's drug war. According to Garma, Duterte called her in 2016 about the creation of a task force which would implement the so-called Davao template on a nationwide scale. Duterte disputed Garma's claims, saying the former police official was supposedly lying. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla previously said Garma agreed to be a witness and testify against Duterte in his case before the International Criminal Court. Duterte is currently detained at The Hague, Netherlands for charges of crimes against humanity in relation to his bloody anti-drug campaign. Fuel retailers announced another round of price hikes this week for diesel, reaching nearly 1 peso a liter. In an advisory on Monday, September 29, local oil firms say prices of diesel and kerosene will be more costly by 90 centavos a liter. On the other hand, gasoline prices will be slashed by 20 centavos a liter. This is the first reduction after 6 weeks of consecutive increases. Oil companies will implement their price adjustments at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, September 30. Last week, the price hikes ranged from 80 centavos to 1 peso a liter. Jetty Petroleum President Leo Bellas earlier said fears of a potential supply disruption due to geopolitical tensions continue to influence oil price adjustments. He also cited last week's depreciation of the Philippine peso against the US dollar as a factor in possible price adjustments.